Hello marketing research students, Dr. Z here, and I've got session 2 for chapter 8 in front of us. As we encounter all the devastation from the coronavirus, I just want to remind you of a passage from James. Usually we start at verse 2, so I'll start there and then I'll explain verse 1. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. I think sometimes we gloss over verse 1. James was actually writing to the 12 tribes who had been scattered from Jerusalem because of persecution. They were basically running for their lives, and James was writing them to encourage them and to let them know, even though things were bad, this was all part of God's plan to make them complete and mature as believers. In session 1, I covered the first 3 steps in the questionnaire design, and in this session, we'll complete the remaining 4 steps. In the introductory section of your questionnaire or survey, you'll want to provide an overview of your research. You'll also want to include your informed consent language in this section. This is an example of a survey that Dr. Benjamin's class did for psychology, and you'll notice that right at the beginning, and this was a Google Forms survey, it has the informed consent language customized for the particular survey. And the very first question is a screening question to make sure the participants are at least 18 years of age. If they would answer no, then this would go right to the end of the survey and would thank them, but let them know they are not eligible to participate. So right after the introductory section, you have your screening questions, and then that is followed by your research questions section. You'll also want to strive to avoid response order bias, and that has to do with how you lay out your questionnaire questions, the order, and so forth. There's more information on that in the supplemental video that I posted for you. Also, you want to try to avoid common methods variance, and that's where people tend to choose the middle answer rather than one end of the spectrum or the other. If you're doing face-to-face surveys or face-to-face interviews, you would need to obtain client approval. If you're doing surveys online, then basically your informed consent is what gives you client approval. Pre-testing your questionnaire is kind of like proofreading a paper. You want to make sure that your instructions are clear. You want to find out how much time it takes people to complete the survey, and also whether you need to revise the questions if they're clear. So in our world, we're not going to do pre-testing to a sample. I'll be reviewing your questionnaires as well as IRB. But before we get to that point, I would say, maybe have another classmate or someone in your group review your questionnaire to make sure that it makes sense and that it's understandable and that you actually are asking what you intend to ask. Once your survey instrument or questionnaire is approved, then you can go ahead and administer the survey. That means sending it out to get data collection. You will want to put a deadline on collection so that it doesn't drag on to infinity and so that you have time to analyze the data. If you were going to mail surveys out rather than emailing them, you would need a cover letter to explain the survey and so forth. But since most of ours are going to be done electronically, you will not need to do a cover letter. However, in the email that you send out, or, if you put something in Coffee Break, just make sure that you explain in there what the purpose of your research is, and then also provide the link to SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or whatever survey engine you choose to use. To supplement these PowerPoint slides, I'm also going to ask you to watch this video that I've posted in Moodle, Marketing Research Questionnaire Design, and pay attention to the presenter's tips. Some of them are duplicate, but some of them are supplemental to what's in our textbook and the information that was on the PowerPoint. Hope this is helpful. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to visit me during our virtual office hours, which are Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 11 to 11:50. And you would just click on the Zoom link and I will be there live. Also, you can always email me and I'll be glad to assist you that way. Take care.